Welcome back to the Means Report. Glad that you stayed with us, and again, thanks to Aiken County Coroner Tim Carlton. Very, very strong advice from him. Very nice to see him here on the set after seeing him on television so many times over the years. Rebeeca Wallace is a big part of this community as well. She is the program director for the Salvation Army, and she is kind enough to stop by. As I told you, it's not ring the bell, red kettle time, and so Rebeeca, it's great to see a Salvation Army representative outside the Christmas season, because you are a year-round organization and it's always busy, right?
Absolutely. We have things going on at the Salvation Army 365 days a year, so there is no down day at the Salvation Army.
I know in the past year or so the Kroc Center's gotten a lot of play, as well it should, but if you picture the Salvation Army of old and you picture, what y'all always have been, it's the Center of Hope. It's the facility on Green Street. And I want to ask you, first of all, what is going on there, and talk about your efforts that continue at the Center of Hope.
Right. We are continuing to do everything we've always done at the Center of Hope, and I think sometimes the community forgets that because we have gotten so much press at the Kroc Center. But the Center of Hope still has a night shelter for men, women, and children. We have our families that are staying in the shelter as well. We still feed people every day of the week at dinner time. We have our job skills training program going on there. We do social services for homeless individuals there. All of that is still going on at the Center of Hope.
And do you still need, and I know this is a silly question, community support for that? Because as you mentioned, our attention was directed toward the Kroc Center, getting that thing built. And what about supporting, either through money or volunteerism, the Center of Hope?
We definitely need that. I think that people have thought that some of the money that went to the Kroc Center also helps fund the Center of Hope, and that is not the case.
That's right, people did think that.
Yes, the Center of Hope is totally separate. The kettles help raise money for that. Our auto auctions help raise money for that, as do the thrift stores. But we definitely still need people to come down and help serve food. We need donations all the time of people's blankets and towels and washcloths. And one thing we love to tell people is, when you're traveling, and this is the travel season, when you go to those hotels and you get shampoo and soaps you don't use, save them up and bring them in, because we need those every single day in the shelter. That's a big need of ours.
You know what, I 100% thought you were going to say, please take the towels and the washcloths and bring them to us.
Well,
but you didn't say that.
I didn't say that. We need those as well, but I don't want anyone to get in trouble with the hotels, nor do I want to.
Right, yeah, just go buy them and then donate them. How much does somebody have to pay, if anything, if they want to spend the night at the shelter, if they're homeless?
Well, we have different setups. People can come stay at the shelter for free for a certain number of nights a month. But then we also have it set up that after a certain number of nights, you do need to pay $5 a night.
All right.
We've done that because we don't want people to think of that as a permanent residence.
All right.
The goal of the shelter is not to create housing for people indefinitely. It is to try and create kind of that in-between place where people can land when they're in trouble and as they're getting stabilized. So after a certain number of nights, they do need to pay. The difference is with families, with women, with children. They do not have to pay to stay there, because we work with them kind of on an ongoing basis till we get them stabilized in permanent housing. We don't want children to be displaced every night.
I always try to clear that up, because people will approach you, especially downtown, and say, give me some money, I need it for the shelter. And my response has always been, the shelter is free. But after a certain amount of time, it's not.
It's not.
Okay.
Now, if there is someone who has a specific need that would preclude them having that $5 a night, we certainly work with them.
Sure.
We're not going to put somebody out because they don't have it. But we did institute this a few years ago, because we just once again felt that was what we needed to do to help people move on from staying with us. We also have a lot of people that stay at the shelter that just got jobs, and they cannot yet afford to establish a new residence, but they would like to have a place to come each evening. So they might pay $5 a night just for a couple weeks till they get that first paycheck.
Take us to the campus of the Kroc Center now. I guess y'all are gearing up for a busy summer at this point. Again, like the Salvation Army itself, the Kroc Center campus is always busy, but I know summertime's huge.
Summertime is huge. We are very busy. We're getting ready for the summer camp season. We are so excited to have our first summer going on with that, and we expect to have lots of happy children running around the Kroc Center. It's fun to see everything from people going down slides to taking art classes to just coming and eating in the cafe and they don't have to be members to do a lot of those things. So, you know, we have certain groups that come in, and you'll see them eat breakfast every morning, and they're not members. They just like to come down and eat with us. So
yeah, and it's great food, and it's a wonderful environment too, and it's, you know, it's right there, convenient to just about anywhere on your way to or from.
It is.
And so I hope people will take advantage of that and stop by. Talk about Captains Todd and Wilma Mason, your fearless leaders at the Salvation Army. They're going to the big city. What's happening there and what's next?
Well, we are incredibly sad at the moment, as with any church, and the Salvation Army is ultimately a church. We do at times lose our leaders to another place, and that just happened. It was just announced. So in mid-June, they'll be leaving us and going off to the training college in Atlanta to actually work at the college. And we will be getting new officers. And we have met them one time. They're a great couple, and we look forward to having them come in and give us some new ideas and new energy, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful relationship. Luckily, we have such an incredible staff at the Kroc Center that the community will not see a difference. It will be seamless.
Have you seen sort of a pushback after the Kroc Center surge where people have kind of said, okay, the Kroc Center and the Salvation Army are fine now, whereas I want to say to them now, we still need you. Have people sort of backed off and thought, okay, let's let them go for a while?
We have seen that. We absolutely have seen that. We have, even at the Kroc Center, we have a scholarship fund so that people can access the facility for nothing,
right, based
on their income. And we are continually trying to find donations to help fund that, because that's a big part of what we said we would do with the Kroc Center. We've seen the kettles and some of the donations maybe be a little lighter than usual, and that's really because I think, you know, obviously we've had economic issues, but also I think people, once again, are not sure if the Center Hope needs the money.
Sure.
And I'm absolutely here today to say that yes, they do. You know, we have those women, children, men, individuals coming in every day in Augusta who really need help.
Well, I want the Salvation Army to stay on people's radar, and I'm grateful that you took the time to come, you know, help make that happen. So thank you for that. Thank you, more importantly, for what you do for the people in this community who need you.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be able to work with the Salvation Army.
It is, and I'm grateful that you do. Rebeeca Wallace is the program director of the Salvation Army. Reach out to her, and she can show you and tell you about the many ways you can help them serve others. When the Means Report continues, financial advice from Jeff Fairman. He can tell you about the importance of donating to the Salvation Army and the benefits therein. Plus the question of the week, and is there a ghost flying out of a bolt of lightning? You'll have to see the video and then decide. We'll be right back.